Hello, everybody. Welcome to the webinar where we have the trifecta here with the big names in Databricks, who is one of the hottest company to watch out for today, and also a leader with Gartner and Forrester in multiple categories and well recognized. We also have Informatica here, which is a household name for many of you out there, and also a leader in the Gartner quadrants for many, many categories that they are recognized for, and now a cloud-first company for data management in Informatica. And then we also have LumenData on the deck here, and we are looking forward to showcase a very specific demo to you where Informatica and Databricks can be leveraged together to make your AI and data management successful. So let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Akash Desai. I lead a lot of the customer engagements here and partnerships with Informatica and Databricks, and looking forward to helping all of you understand more about this ecosystem. I will go further. Why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself, Pradeep, then Ajay, and then Andrew.
All right. Thanks, Akash. So I'm Pradeep. I'm part of the product partnerships team here at Databricks. I work with Ajay closely. We jointly manage the Informatica Databricks integration roadmap. I'm here to talk about Databricks and the partnership with Informatica. Yeah.
Thank you, Pradeep.
Hey everyone, my name is I'm Ajay Golapalli. I lead the solution architecture team within Informatica for the ecosystems, especially on Databricks. So we'll be talking about today how we work together and what kind of solutions we are going to build. We'll be seeing it today.
Thank you, Ajay.
And hi, my name is Andrew Kreider. I'm the Director of Analytics and Cloud Solution here at LumenData, primarily responsible for the integration of our multiple partners, which Informatica and Databricks are part of that ecosystem.
Thank you, Pradeep, Ajay, Andrew. We're looking forward to this. Here is a quick view on the agenda, but the gist of it is that how does Databricks and Informatica together drive the best of the ecosystems to drive your AI outcomes, your data management and data quality to drive specific use cases. And I will hand it over to Pradeep quickly so he can talk about Databricks. Then Ajay will come on, talk about Informatica and how they fit in well together. And then we'll see a live demo from Andrew bringing it all together. Go ahead, Pradeep.
All right. Let me take control here. Okay, 1 minute. All right, Databricks. So I'll give you guys a little bit of high level, right? So we are all about democratizing data and AI. This has been our mission for over 10 years now. Of course, we are committed to it as much as we were when we began. Now that Gen AI is taking over every industry. Basically what we believe is winners in every industry will be data and AI companies. I mean, we can see that quite a bit these days. But it's not easy to have success in data and AI when it comes to technology and stitching together different product platforms like these. So, you may need a data lake platform. You may need, a machine learning platform. You may need a platform for governance, orchestration, BI, streaming, warehouse, and then now with the Gen AI, there are new platforms coming into picture. So it's really, you can already see how complex this could get, and the technical expertise that you might need or your company might need to build this type of platform that caters to data and AI across all use cases, right? So that is, and also let me go to the next slide, or yeah. So what it creates is now you have data and AI that's siloed, of course, and then you basically have data privacy and control are challenged because you will be moving data across different platforms, and it's really hard to manage that. And of course, you need to have you will be highly dependent on your technical staff, considering there are several platforms, and you need to stitch all of this together and continue to maintain it. That's where Databricks Data Lakehouse comes into the picture. And many of you might be familiar with this, but yeah, we introduced this concept in 2020. This is the Lakehouse architecture, as you can see. Now about 74% of global enterprises have adopted this Lakehouse architecture. So at its core, what it is you have a like your open data lake where you have data sitting in open formats. It could be Delta Lake format, for example, and whatever format it might be. Let's say we have Delta Lake Uniform, which basically is able to read and write to different formats, different open formats. And you have unified governance across all of your data sitting within your data lake. Now with the same data sitting on your cloud storage, doesn't matter which cloud it is, you are able to perform these workloads, maybe data warehousing workloads, or you want to orchestrate something, or you want to do real-time analytics, ETL, or you want to do data science and AI. So you will be able to do with Lakehouse architecture all these workloads on top of the same data sitting in one place. You don't need to move things around to achieve this. So that was the concept of Data Lakehouse, and it has been pretty successful, as you can see, and it also provides a lot of cost benefits and stuff like that, right? So. And also, of course, we build this on an open foundation, and we have several partners such as Informatica, as you can see, Informatica in the data integration section and the data governance and security section. Basically, we have several developer tools to be able to build on top of our Databricks platform, and that's why you see so many partners in our ecosystem. So we have the data lakehouse, of course, right? But now with Gen AI, we basically made our data lakehouse into a data intelligence platform. So it's not just data and AI at scale and making the platform simpler. But it's more about now democratizing data and AI across your organization, which means anyone in the organization should be able to ask questions and get answers, right? So that's the ideal state, right? So with the new data intelligence platform, which has Data Lakehouse at its core, we are trying to do that, okay? So that's what we call the data intelligence platform. All right, let me just talk to you a little bit about it. So this is the Lakehouse, as you have seen. And now with Gen AI, we're able to bring an intelligence engine called Databricks IQ throughout our platform. And with this, for example, for Unity Catalog, you'll be able to basically get insights into your data through natural language and with built-in security. With Delta Lake, you're able to optimize your storage automatically. And same thing with Databricks SQL, it opens up natural language capability of working with your data and text-to-speak SQL and text-to-visualization. Of course, job optimization and scheduling and stuff like that could also be, optimized there. Same thing with data quality. You're now, are enabled with automated data quality on all of your data and AI assets sitting on Unity Catalog. And now, of course, you can create, tune, and serve your custom LLMs as well. So that's the data intelligence platform. And I want to double click on Mosaic AI offerings here a little bit. You'll see quite a bit of this used in Andrew's demo down the line. He's going to show you the cooler stuff is all. With Mosaic AI, what we're trying to do is from a Gen AI standpoint, you are able to build your own models. You're able to fine tune existing LLMs. You're able to build your own RAG, or basically use an existing LLM, and with your company's data, you can kind of like you can build a chain so that it is responding based on your company's data, right? So that's RAG. And then, of course, we released DBRX, which is an open source LLM that you could use as well, and which is also available on Mosaic AI platform through our foundational models API. And of course, from the past, we have been known for end-to-end AI through MLflow, our open source project, and we do have a lot of platform capabilities that we list here. And some of this, Andrew is also going to be using in his demo, so you'll see that. And I did mention, we want to expand, basically democratize data and AI across the organization. So we have something called Project Genie that's doing exactly that. Basically, we want to deliver data and AI for everyone across the organization through natural language. So you will have, any user that can just go into chatbot type of interface, ask a question, and they get answers. And that already has built-in security and built-in optimizations from the Databricks Data Intelligence platform built in. So that's where it kind of leads into. You may see more of that in our Data and AI Summit. If anyone, if anyone watching is joining that, or you can also sign up to attend it virtually. It's free. So yeah. All right. So to summarize, Data Intelligence Platform enables you to truly democratize data and AI, accessible with natural language, simple to operate, and custom AI on your private data. That's what we're trying to build. There are several, consumer-based products out there, but essentially, we are trying to enable all the enterprises across the world, basically all organizations across the world, to build their own Gen AI products as well. So that's my time, and I'll pass it on to Ajay, who's going to talk about our amazing Informatica and Databricks partnership. He's also going to be talking about some Informatica, some details about Informatica itself. So just to summarize the Informatica partnership, right? On top of the data intelligence platform, Informatica offers no-code, low-code way of operating all of the data management capabilities across the board. So Ajay is going to talk about that product suite of data management capabilities and how you can leverage that on top of Databricks. Yeah, thanks.
Hey, thanks, Pradeep. Really great information about Databricks. So when you see customers, right, trying to adopt into Databricks, it's very easy to adopt into Databricks by taking your data, right? But from an enterprise level, if you think about it, they all have very similar challenges and questions. What data should I be bringing into Databricks? Is it the data that I should bring all my data? Or should I bring only my OLAP data? Or should I bring my OLTP data? And along with it, they also need to understand how do they populate it. They should populate with batch mode, incremental mode, or nightly, or streaming. There are multiple varieties of ways the data is handled in an enterprise. Along with it, if you think about the realistic question there's a lot of data, right? So you have to understand, is my data worthy to do analytics? Is my data even cleansed? And is it my data secure, especially is it protected by role-based access controls or by having a easy way to making sure GDPR compliant so that the right person sees the right data for the right purpose. Along with all these questions, they also ask about what Andrew will be talking about today is the master data management suite of it. How do I bring a 360-degree view of my master data inside the enterprise? It could be a customer, product, reference, all this data. Along with it, the last but most important is the governance aspect of it, a real end-to-end governance in enterprise. If you think about enterprise, they have on-prem environments, SaaS environments, hybrid environments, and all this data has to be governed. And Informatica has all the solutions based upon for all this, based upon all these challenges. What Informatica did is we also built purpose-built solutions for all these challenges. In the data, if you think about data as a journey, especially if you think about data in the journey of data, you're talking about taking the data, from understanding the data, transformation of the data, applying rules of quality, and then creating a 360-degree view, and applying governance and making sure the data is private. And last but not least, to democratize the data via data marketplace. All these different tools provide unique capabilities to purpose build for this data journey itself. How do we do that? How do we do this? We collect almost 95, we do 95 trillion transactions a month through our IDMC platform. IDMC stands for Informatica's Intelligent Data Management Cloud Platform. And it is a cloud-based SaaS solution, all of the purpose-built solutions built on the engine called Claire. Claire is an AI engine that automatically understands the metadata and provides value-add insight services as microservices into each of this component. For example, if you take data quality, Claire understands what is the data coming in, and it automatically says, this is the quality set of quality rules that the data needs to be governed with, the data needs to be cleansed with, and it builds the rules for the consumer. So based upon the business, based upon the enterprise, based upon the domain, customers choose which rules to apply and which rules they don't want to apply for. So that's kind of what Claire provides. And it provides much more for data marketplace. It knows who the right audience is, who the right person is. Based upon that, should I give access to the data? Should the Claire should not give access to the data? Everything is determined by Claire automatically, and there's a human in the loop that comes in and solves those challenges. And it is all available as a IPU model, what we call as Informatica's processing unit model, where a customer pays for one model, one license, and they procure all these different applications and services. And if you think about it, right, the next question is, Ajay, what all the different applications that we connect to? We connect to almost 300 different applications. You think about it, right? Data over the last 30 years, Informatica is 30-year company now. And when we are celebrating 30 years, we have to look back 30 years of data. Data has changed from what used to be from flat files to DBMS to SOAP envelopes, XMLs to REST APIs, now Parquet formats. Who knows what the next tomorrow's format is, right? So Informatica has been investing in building all these connectors over the last 30 years. And all these 300 connectors are available for customers today when they want to migrate the data into Databricks. So when they want to take the data from, especially from an on-prem environment or a SaaS environment, and they want to do analytics on top of it, Informatica provides these connectors to be able to transport the data into Databricks. And how does it happen, right? Most importantly, now we talk about how does the data flow into this. So what we call as the mass ingestion framework. The mass ingestion takes the data in a batch mode or a streaming mode, and then sends it to either to Databricks SQL, which is built under the on top of the Data Lake. So the data gets stored along with in the cloud in the Databricks SQL as using the Unity catalog, and also provide quality rules on top of it to apply to cleanse the data and to transform the data so that it can be fit for analytical usage. So when you think about fit for analytical usage, automatically you're talking about bronze to silver to gold layer medallion architecture. So depending upon how you use Databricks is a very flexible system for many customers. Either they can use SQL or they want to write notebooks. All this functionality using Spark engines, everything comes together in Databricks, and it provides the kind of interface Informatica augments that with the data engineering capabilities. And we're also providing the governance aspect of it, as I said earlier, from a true end-to-end, from your SaaS applications, from your enterprise applications into Databricks by integrating with Unity Catalog. When you think about Unity Catalog, before we go to Unity Catalog, the way the data process, customers know Informatica for ETL. Now we also support ELT, extract the data, load it into Databricks, and then transform the data onto Databricks. So this is extremely beneficial for customers because they don't need to move their data from Databricks into some other repository or some other mechanism to store the data, to transform and then move it back to Databricks. So what will happen in this scenario is all this data gets transformed based upon the designer in Informatica using the low code, no code kind of functionality, and everything will be operated, transformed, processed on Databricks itself. Along with this, what we are doing is we are also integrating with Unity Catalog. What is Unity Catalog? There's a lot of, when you see the terms catalog, everybody's mind goes into like, oh my God, Databricks has a Unity Catalog, Informatica has a cloud data catalog. What does it mean? Databricks data catalog is a overarching mechanism within the Databricks environment for data itself. So if you think about a Databricks SQL table, it's stored in catalog.schema, which is like a database, .table name. So where the underlying data gets stored. They do provide the lineage on the Databricks environment, but now with this Unity catalog, what Informatica did is to integrate that Unity catalog information into a catalog of catalogs. So what happens here is Informatica provides catalogs based upon at the enterprise level, whether you have it on-prem, whether you have SaaS applications, whether you have it on Databricks. By collecting all this information, customers can leverage the lineage from end to end, a real end to end, from where the data came into the enterprise, how it's being used for analytics. Everything can be governed and now provided with lineage. So those kind of important functionalities gets built with the Unity catalog integration itself. And with Informatica's cloud data governance and catalog, we look at three pillars. One is risk and compliance. Every catalog in the world talks about risk and compliance because it's mandatory, it's necessary. GDPR, ISO policies, there are a lot of too many constraints that need to be governed enterprises so that the enterprise data is safe, secure, and available for customers. So risk and compliance is one. Next is data quality. Informatica's cloud data governance and catalog provides data quality dashboards and scorecards for customers to know what data, how it's being utilized, and how this data can be made available for their consumption purposes. And third but not the least is the democratization of data, where we provide a democratic way of accessing the data. When I say democratization, an analyst in the organization today, if you think about it, when they want to access the data, it is not a very easy one because they have to jump loops in terms of getting access to the data itself. So the cloud data governance and catalog provides a marketplace, an internal marketplace, where an analyst can request for the data, and if there are federated authenticated users, they get immediate access to the data itself. And if they are not authenticated for this particular data, it goes to the business steward where they get a workflow and then they approve it and then they get access to data. Along with these three pillars, we provide, and the cloud data Informatica provides profiling of data to understand what this quality looks like, the impact analysis. So if you change the underlying parameter, where is the underlying parameter impacts the entire system in analytics, and also provides similarity clustering, business glossary integration, annotations, and certifications. Everything gets come together in Informatica governance and catalog. So that's the kind of catalog of catalogs behavior what Informatica's data governance and catalog provides. With this, you can ask us, what is the value add a customer would get when they combine cloud data governance and Unity catalog? As I said earlier, unified metadata management, a holistic view of end-to-end systems of the data system, enhanced data quality management with no code, low code kind of functionality, and then able to see the scorecards, dashboards, and everything, along with the compliance mechanisms. There are many more, but these are the major things that helps you when you integrate these two powerful sources of information together. Along with it, we just recently we worked on the Databricks release the DBRX, the LLM from Databricks Mosaic AI models. So we integrated with our CAI for a planner orchestrator component, where we provide RAG applications blueprint for customers, so that if a customer wants to implement, take their enterprise grade data and apply it to be available for interfaces to chat or interfaces to do Q&As with the LLMs, what we did is we have a RAG chain built for this purpose, where the RAG chain is built on cloud application integration of Informatica, where it says, how do you take a prompt? How do you deconstruct the prompt? What the user is asking for? Based upon that, remember the metadata intelligence I talked about? With the metadata, we are now provided as an intelligence API, where a customer, where when the user gets a prompt, they can request the metadata intelligence to provide saying, where is my data located? Is this data worthy enough to be shared? Is this data capable of enough to make sense for the customers? And now they can use fetching agents, where the agents can go and require different sources, whether it is within the Databricks environment, whether it is external sources, or whether it is sitting in a completely different storage buckets. You can get the data using the fetch agents and making sure that it all gets the response gets reconstructed through DBRX and provided available through an application, through front-end applications like Teams or Amazon Queues or Copilots or web apps. So whatever the customers use today of their choice, you'll be able to see this data itself. With this, I also want to talk about a little bit. We are launching a new CDI free, a cloud data integration free component for customers to use and to take advantage of understanding how it works. And this is going to be available through Databricks Partner Connect. So if you go into Databricks, if you're an account admin, you can go into Partner Connect and you can choose to implement, integrate CDI free, Informatica CDI free through Databricks Partner Connect. That's bringing seamless transition of data engineering and data analytics together with Databricks and Informatica. And you'll all see this in a powerful demo with what Andrew is going to talk about. And we have a Databricks Summit coming up, and I will be there. We are doing a couple of sessions. Me and Pradeep are doing a couple of sessions. If you're going to be there, definitely come over and watch us. And if you're going to watch online, let us know. We can, if you have any questions, we'll answer it at the end of the session too. So most importantly, right, when you talk about Informatica and Databricks, we saw all these technology architectures, right? So the coolest thing, the most important thing is our customers' trust. Informatica is named the top 3 fastest growing services for bringing Databricks workloads. Especially we are a select partner. There are badges in Databricks. If you are a Databricks fan, you would know that there are multiple badges for multiple places. And we are one of the highest but one partner on this Databricks badging system. And we also provide a full set of support. We are certified on all our products to support Unity Catalog, and we provide the kind of that you're bringing the data into Unity Catalog or the governing data. They're integrated everywhere into this, and along with our MDM, Master Data Management, which is so Andrew will be able to show us today in his powerful demo. We are integrated through MDM too on the Unity Catalog layer. And along with it, the most important thing is how do we do better together is we're able to take customers' data using Informatica's CDI and providing through into Databricks, right? So there's also some concept called as migration factory. If you have worked on Informatica on Power Center on-prem, if you use Informatica's migration factory Databricks, it is a well-known trusted approach that it has provided customers a quick mechanisms to understand, to move their workloads of data from their on-prem environment into Databricks. And we provide the enterprise data governance, the data catalog and quality, along with all the Unity Catalog, that's enabling customers to have a trusted data with high quality for every use case, including the retrieval augmented generative framework use cases that we have for I just showed you the blueprint for. Now, Andrew, why don't you show us some kind of how do we get all these powerful things together and do a demo for us?
Thank you, AJ. So before we get started with the demo, I just want to introduce LumenData for those that haven't been with us. We have a number of different services, including cloud modernization, data analytics and engineering, and data strategy and business value assessments. We were founded in 2008, 200 technical and functional consultants strong, with over 150 customers that cover 100 different projects. One of the great things that we are very proud of is that our team has an average of 15 years of experience. People love working at LumenData and stay with us for a long time. While we're headquartered in Santa Clara, our delivery team primarily sits in Bangalore, and then they're responsible for a lot of the underlying construction of the demo that I'm about to show you, which I think will be very impressive. So let's actually dive into what we're actually going to cover. So this is what AJ showed a little bit earlier. This is kind of the Informatica and Databricks entire thing. There's a lot going on here. Claire, data quality, enterprise analytics, the whole 9 yards. But today we're going to just focus on getting the data from our sources into our data lake and our Unity catalog within Databricks, using the features of Databricks to run advanced analytics and some LLMs, hold on for that, and then delivering those results out to our number of different consumers, right? Whether they're business users, whether they're data analysts, or whether they're data scientists. In this particular example, we're going to talk about a SaaS company, an e-commerce company that operates in a SaaS environment. They have data coming from their analytics for their customer demographics. So that includes things that are from surveys. So demographics like whether people are married, whether people have kids, whether people are educated, salary ranges, that sort of thing. And then the transactions from the e-commerce store that would come from, say, Salesforce or another CRM like that. So when we talk about getting data into Databricks through Informatica, it's really very, very simple. The full end-to-end solution in the GUI low-code format really allows us to connect to multiple different data sources, bring it in, ingest the data, apply business logics, and get all that data actually into Databricks so that we can do our advanced analytics. So let's move to a live demo, and we're going to cover a number of different things here. Let me just switch the share here. Here we go. And so for this, what we're going to show first is the most important thing. Most people think that you can do advanced analytics just off of your raw data, and that's not necessarily true, right? What we really want to do is we want to apply data governance and make sure that we clean our data. So especially when we're doing data science work, we want to make sure that we have the cleanest and most accurate and precise data as possible. So what you see here is the Business 360 console for our demographic data. You can see we have a number of different fields, phone numbers, email addresses, revenues, the amount of times they've made purchases on our website, but 3 distinct fields that we decided to merge on, which was phone number, address, and email address. And so like most processes when cleaning data, this is iterative. And so you can see that we went through a number of different match algorithms, all very easily handled within the Informatica MDM platform. And what we finally ended up with was on this match and merge on email address. Phone numbers might have been different because they made calls from their office or from home or from their cell phone. So that's not a good way to identify individuals. But email address tends to be, at least in this data set, all the way through. Now, one of the things that you could do here is also do a number of different things like create a composite key or something like that. But for this purpose, we're just going to do on whoever purchased it, and we set the confirmation to when they made a purchase on our e-commerce store. And so when we run this match and merge process, we remove approximately half of our data as data that is not clean or that needs to be augmented in some other way. And so what we resulted in is 4,590 rows that was merged and then brought into our Databricks environment. So when we go to Databricks, as we were talking earlier, Databricks is going to cover everything. It's going to have a SQL warehouse. It's going to allow us to import raw data. It's going to allow us to do data science and some LLM work as well. And so for this, you can see we just, import this merged data into our database, and so that you can run just very standard SQL on it and do your analysis or populate data in Power BI or Tableau. And so when we run that in just a minute, it'll return a number of data sets, and we'll come back to that in just one moment. So then after we've loaded our data into our Databricks Unity catalog, into our SQL tables, what we're going to actually do is conduct a segmentation analysis. What this is going to allow us to do is to identify the segments in our data set based off of e-commerce data, as well as the cleaned data that we brought in for our demographics, to figure out what section of our population is providing the most value and most return, so that we can increase the ROI by specifically targeting out those teams. So as you can see here, we have a number of different features that we can use for clustering, right? Clustering is simply grouping rows together in a very simple data science parlance. And we have a number of different elements here. And so when we cluster them and we group those clusters together, what we look at is a correlation, right? So a correlation of 1 means that for each record, there's only one example of that. So a good example of this might be email address or an index table. What we're looking for are correlations that are less than that, so that we can do our clustering, so that we can find the most valuable segments. And so for that, in this table, during this analysis, we've discovered that teens, kids at home and, marital status all have high differences of correlation, right? Low correlation amounts, which means that those are prime for our clustering method. So then we're going to choose which ones we're going to cluster. And then we're going to kind of look at our visualizations of what our distributions within that as well. This will give us further analysis into what groups make the most sense to target if we're doing a massive email thing, a big source where the return on communication is not going to be high. Or if we're looking for more specific information, we might choose a dimension that has a lower distribution, right? And so this is a very complex iterative process. We do a lot of different analysis here, right? We determine that the graduate degree has the highest frequency within our group. This is all very interesting for our marketing team. And then, for marital status, most of our people are either married or together. That's another interesting thing. Income distribution is kind of widely spread, so that's not really a good source of us. And then we come all the way down. And after all of this analysis, right, which takes some time, we're going to do our segmentation. So we're going to identify the dimensions that we want to continue clustering on after our analysis. And then what we're going to do is we're going to produce what is called, via an elbow method, the number of suggested clusters, right? This helps us define where can we define our data so that the thing that we're interested in most, which in this case is revenue, is segmented into the 2 distinct sets. And so elbow, as in elbow right here, we look for where the crook of the elbow is. It's 2. And so we're going to go ahead and create 2 different clusters. And with that information, what we're going to be able to do is result in a cluster that provides us where our data is the most valuable here. And so right here, we've identified what our most, out of the 2 clusters, what's the most profitable cluster, which we're going to refer to as 0 through the rest of the example. And they have about 5 to 1 of the income that is produced by our customers, right? And then a number of rows is about evenly distributed. So for each person in cluster 0, they generate about 5 times the revenue as possible. And so as we go through all of this, further analysis, and then we finally get down to our distribution, so we can further define what those people look like, so that we can create specific marketing campaigns or understand who our client is better. And so as you can see, 54% of them are graduates. 40% of them are married. And then while most have 0 kids at home, as in this case defined as people under 12, most of them have a single teen at home, so somewhere between the 12 and 18 range. So through all of this analysis, we can determine that there's a number of different distributions. It doesn't really matter. Revenue is pretty distributed, gender is pretty distributed. So that gives us all of that information. Now, this is very useful for a data scientist because you can do further analysis, further segmentation upon that segmentation. But if you're presenting this data to, say, a stakeholder, what you may want to look at is revenue over time. And one of the great things about Databricks is I can do all of my visualizations within the Databricks platform here as well. And so then we can see what our values look like over time. The blue is segment 0, which is our most profitable segment, and gold is our least profitable segment. And then looking at, for example, we ship most of this in this data set to the UK. And then here's the overall revenue by date, and then by invoice date as well, so that we can do some analysis of shipping and logistics. And then just to give us an idea, again, our revenue broken down by cluster, our marital status broken down by cluster, and then by cluster, what our demographics look like from an educational standpoint, right? So we can discover that, our graduates and our doctors are most profitable people in our cluster, which may or may not be correlated to other dimensionalities, right? Now, that's all great, and that's very informative. What we would call this is descriptive analytics. This is not really something that we can do with it. So what happens when we switch to prescriptive analytics? In prescriptive analytics, we're trying to decide what an action looks like. And so for this, with our e-commerce store, which sells mostly home goods, what we've identified here are the top 10 items bought overall, and then what the top 10 items bought by the most profitable customer segment here, and what the top 10 items bought by the most least profitable customer segment. And so at this point, you have to kind of bring a human being into the equation and say, do we want to increase marketing for the top 10, or do we want to increase marketing for the top 10 least purchased items? Do we want to reduce the stock of one and increase the stock of the other? At this point, really A/B testing, this is where this really comes into it. But for right now, what we want to do is we've identified what we want to do and how we want to handle it. So for that, we've now identified what our most profitable segments are, which is a female graduate who has teens at home, right? These are the people that we're going to target. And so we're going to continue and expand what our demo architecture looks like. So on the left-hand side, we've imported the data from our CRM and Informatica. We've moved it into Databricks. We've done some basic data discovery analysis. And now what we're going to do is we're going to use a little bit more data science and LLMs to create custom emails that we can then use to further feed our information from our e-commerce, and then continue this cycle to continue to grow our business. So let's talk about how the AI platform and the Databricks DBRX can really bring us into what is the real value of AI and LLMs. And so let me just go back to my screen here. If you'll give me just one moment, I seem to have lost my demos. Oh, here it is. Okay, so we've done all of our analysis. Now it's time to build out our prediction algorithm. So what we've done, again, using all the data that has been managed through Unity Catalog in our SQL Server, we're going to pull in our transactional data. We're going to bring in the clustered data that we created in the previous step, and we're going to create some recommendations. So the 3 different groups of recommendations that we're going to make is a personalized recommendation. Given a particular user, what would be the next 5 items of users that are similar to that user that they have purchased in the past? We're going to then do for the cluster, right? So whether cluster they fit into 0 or 1, what are some things that are bought within that cluster of users that is also the most popular, and then because we like money, we're going to just decide which ones are the highest generating revenue. And this could be really anything that you set as a metric. So the most profitable item, the most seasonal item, anything like that. And then for this particular user, we're going to run all of our prediction engines, and these things can be scheduled so that you can update these on a regular basis for recommendation engines, emails, chatbots, anything like that. And then we're going to come down to the final recommendation, which is these 4 items. And as you can see, this is an iterative process. We're not necessarily going to recommend postage, though it would be an interesting analysis to determine if people choose 2-day versus 3-day shipping, but that's for another time. So right now we've identified 4 items that are the most common bought, fall within the cluster, are the best predicted products for our users. That's fantastic. And this is really information that we can use within personal chatbots or follow-up emails after a sale, anything like that. But what if we use DBRX to kind of do something a little bit more interesting? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take the 4 items from the previous step, and I'm going to run 3 different generations, text generations from DBRX to produce a number of different items. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to take in data from our product descriptions and the items, and we're going to create a name of a product and why they should buy the item. We're then going to use those items, and we are going to build a AI marketing guru that constructs a personalized email for that person to build an email. Now you'll notice that I've hard-coded some expectations of what that cluster information is, but the great thing about this is using in a notebook is that you can simply iterate over the table and bring those specific values in. So it'll create an email. And then finally, because my marketing people really like Instagram, I'm also going to use that same information to generate 3 Instagram video scripts. All this took a very short amount of time. We simply run our little process, and here we go. Now, so we'll scroll up a little bit as it's generating. And so here we've created a name, we've identified the object, we've created a description. That might be a tweet, or it might be a tagline that we might use in A/B testing. It created a personalized email with that person's name and why they should buy each one of the items. And then what we've also done is we've also constructed 3 Instagram stories that feature multiple items together, create hashtags along with it, and the whole 9 yards. So that is really what we can do with Informatica and DBRX, right? All of this material really gives us a number of different things that we can then use with robots to make our marketing team more proficient. Companies like this are already using this generative technology. There's a company called Klarn, primarily in the EU, that says that they have saved $6 million on advertising by using AI and ML to increase the value of their marketing spend while cutting costs as well. And so finally, before I hand it over to Akash, let me just recap what we did, right? So the final output of this through this generative AI application was based on previous purchases and demographic information that had been cleaned. We could create an email and add a whole bunch of different items to it, including coupons or encourage repeat purchases. These are personalized emails, and they can be sent out through Informatica. They can be sent out to, your number of different web applications that manage your email spend. And then if you want, you could also embed, for example, a personal shopper based off of this data that sits in Databricks Unity Catalog so that it's always at hand. And so the final look of our catalog here is data from our left-hand side, right? Operational data, SaaS applications, all going through Informatica and managed by the Unity catalog and the data quality and governance that's provided by Informatica through landing zones into Delta Lake, and then the analytic views that can then be used in DBRX, Looker, Tableau, or Power BI. So this is a really great example of something that you could do by just simply incorporating two systems together. LumenData has a lot of experience building out this demo. We'd love to talk to you a little bit more. But with that being said, I'm going to turn it back over to Akash, see if you have any questions, and go from there. Thank you.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Andrew, for the wonderful deep dive. And thank you, Ajay and Pradeep, for explaining how the platforms are truly transformational, right? We talked about a best-in-class data intelligence platform, which truly enables you to leverage some of the algorithms and the LLMs, a company that pioneered the Data Lakehouse and is now enabling your AI ecosystem in Databricks. But how do you get that data ready is what Ajay explained. How do you manage that data? How do you get better data governance on the IDMC platform and using MDM? Again, a best-in-class tool in Informatica. And then Andrew showcasing a great detailed technical demo. One of the questions that has come in as we are going through the list is for Ajay and Pradeep together. One of the main purposes for Databricks is to use the Spark functionality for faster processing. How does Databricks and Informatica work together in terms of making and enabling data better for your AI use cases?
Yeah. Ajay, do you want to take that, or you want me to go first?
Sure. So Databricks uses Spark functionality for faster processing. And also, if you think about it, if you think about Databricks SQL, and if you think about Databricks multiple clusters, whatever they have, everything is based upon the Spark engine capacity. In fact, they have this Photon engine that does the lightning speed for analytical purposes. Informatica, that's one of the reasons why Informatica does the ELT, which is the extract, load, and transform. It potentially utilizes the underlying capabilities of the Spark engines to provide that functionality to customers so that they can accelerate their workloads inside Databricks itself. So the ELT, native ELT process is an amazing game changer for customers to utilize that kind of power capabilities.
Yeah, to add on to that, on top of it, yes, this is, whatever Ajay mentioned is about processing, data processing, and, how Informatica pushes down data processing. But also know that Informatica provides, entire data management product suite on top of Databricks. So when you're building any type of use case, doesn't matter, as long as you have some sort of a data consumer, you want to make sure data is of high quality, data could be trusted, governed, and this is not just for Databricks, scope to Databricks. Informatica does it across your enterprise. So even if you have like multiple, platforms, tools, Informatica spans across all of that to provide those end-to-end data management capabilities. And with the integration that we have with Informatica, basically Databricks could be part of that end-to-end scheme that Informatica is able to provide. So,
awesome. Thank you so much, Ajay and Pradeep, for that answer. I will direct my next question to Andrew, which is related to the question asked in the Q&A. What areas do you see the most challenges and the most use cases coming out from? I know you showed a marketing use case and taking it from soup to nuts, as in raw data, taking it all the way to creating an email and an Instagram story. But are there other use cases, other areas, and other challenges that have come to the forefront in your conversations with clients?
Sure. So one of the things that most people are looking to do is, regardless of the industry, are NPS scores, right? So customer satisfaction scores, whether those customers be consumers or business managers and stuff like that. Most of that feedback is presented through what we would call non-structured data, meeting notes, emails, chat sessions, phone calls, stuff like that. And so one of the interesting use cases for kind of using these LLMs along with master data is processing that data in a data lake. Because Databricks can hold all those different types of files, you can have one single storage location for all of that information, and then you can process it with the LLMs, as well as pulling out the structured information that might come along that is produced, and allowing you to do further analysis on that. That's a really good use case for this. One of the other things that we're really looking at is doing things that are based around manufacturing and logistics. So manufacturing items that will allow you to master your data to make sure that all of your product information, all of your customer information, all of that is the same and consistent throughout and is clean. And then using more of the data science work to do anomaly detection on missed shipments or fraud detection on purchases, that sort of thing. Those are really great use cases. And then in that case, what I normally use an LLM for is helping me decode the solutions. Giving out errors, or I may not be the greatest PySpark expert, but I can use an LLM to help me build off that information. And so while I think most people think of LLMs as straight text generation, as we showcased today, it's also a great coding assistant that will help you understand and make code more efficient, which would improve your performance and such within the Databricks environment as well. So I think those are two of the really big use cases that we see right now. Fraud detection and anomaly detection through data science, and then building, extracting information into that RAG pipeline that AJ was talking about earlier through non-structured text.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Andrew. We'll take one more question, and this will be directed to Ajay and Pradeep, both of you, right? We talked, and you all both talked about some of the trends you're foreseeing in terms of the integration of AI and how Informatica and Databricks is addressing them. With Pradeep, we heard about the Project Genie and the Mosaic AI and the DBRX, of where certain LLMs are available, as well as you bring in your LLMs to make your AI real. On Ajay's Informatica side, we heard about Claire GPT and how that enables your data management layer and AI across that. Can you all share a little bit more information in the couple of minutes we have before we conclude this call, Pradeep and Ajay?
Yeah, I guess I can go first here. So just to also follow up on the previous question, I think you also spoke about some challenges, right? So the challenges are not specifically related to either Informatica or Databricks. These are just general challenges with the AI use cases, especially when it comes to data management or like silos of data across the board, and basically visibility into the data that you're consuming or your AI model that you're training is consuming, the quality of it, the security and governance. These are challenges that doesn't matter what platform customers are going to face. What Informatica and Databricks together can do is basically accelerate the time to production. Right? They can get through these challenges like basically quickly because of all the UI workflows that Informatica provides, and with all the technical capabilities that make it easy for customers to develop these AI solutions, right? So that's something that I wanted to cover. And then in terms of like the future trends, just so far what we see is I'm just going to talk about Gen AI, right? So in this case, when you're talking about future trends, basically, so far what we are seeing is organizations trying to build a RAG chain, right? So you have existing LLM and you're trying to build a RAG chain with your proprietary enterprise data. And of course, again, the trusted data piece comes into picture here, where Informatica feeds in, basically enables trusted data for the customer on top of Databricks, right? And you're basically grounding the LLM to say, okay, only look at my enterprise data and respond, but LLM is able to understand and natural language and able to respond and understand the context of your enterprise data. That's one case. And the second case is fine-tuning an LLM. It is an expensive process for sure, but costs are definitely going down for that as well. And with the Mosaic AI acquisition of Databricks, we are enabling much more technical capabilities to be able to fine-tune your data, fine-tune an existing LLM with your enterprise data, basically making that experience better and cheaper. And the third is building your own model. And this is something that, organizations have been doing for a long time. But when it comes to building a large language model, right, the moment we say large, it's like trillions of tokens. And it's not an easy task. And it takes a lot of computation power. And that's something that organizations have to be very careful about when they're choosing which path. But also know that, you can maybe read up our blog. I think for DBRX, we were able to do this with like $10 million. And for larger enterprises, that's actually a doable thing now. And the costs are going to go down much more with like more optimized chips and, like more performance improvements from a computation layer, right? So that's what I see. And, organizations just need to leverage these technical capabilities to choose whichever patterns suits for them. Yeah.
Hey, that's a great insight, Pradeep. Honestly, like this very, very, very informative. As Pradeep said, right, most of the things from the trend perspective, the generative AI is becoming increasingly important. The reason is AI used to be, until recently, AI used to be complex. It's only for machine learning engineers. You have to be a data scientist to understand AI, but not anymore, because you're not working building models, which you can, but you're also utilizing the model that's been built for LLM purposes. So the large language models hosted in Databricks, Mosaic AI, or any of the well-known popular AI stuff that you have come across, everyone has made efforts to build based upon a corpus of data that's sitting across, whether they're using what are complex mechanisms in the data scientist world they're using. They are making it easy for consumers to customize for their purposes, for their needs, and they call it as a RAG, they call it as a React and COT and everything. But I'm telling you, the important thing to take away from this is, from the trend perspective, customers can leverage AI easily. That is the most important trend that I'm seeing in the industry. And that's where, if you look about Data DI Summit next 2 weeks out from now, most of the correspondence happens on the AI side of it. That's because that is where the industry is heading towards. Everything is getting automated. Everything is becoming more and more easy for customers to adopt into taking their data and making sense out of it. So that's where the future is.
Awesome. Thank you. We are about 4 minutes over, and that's a good sign that, folks are sticking around because we're talking something relevant, hopefully. But thank you, Pradeep. We look forward to meeting you in 2 weeks at the Data AI Summit. And it's a great summit growing every year. So we look forward to meeting you, Ajay, and the whole LumenData team at the Databricks Summit. Ajay, thank you so much for sharing how we can make our data better for our AI work. We are coming back from Informatica World just last week, and that was amazing. Andrew, appreciate your demo and the deeply technical overview. Thank you, everybody. We appreciate you being here and spending some time with us. Hopefully, this gave you a couple of key nuggets on how we can extract data into Databricks using Informatica and really making an impact with some of the key use cases in marketing, supply chain, and so forth. Thank you so much again, and we look forward to meeting you all again.
Yep. Right. Thanks all.
Thanks, everyone.